Westplex 107.1. It is BS in the morning. And you know what? I'll apologize ahead of time for the fact that we're off the air. I'm not going to point any fingers, but Shelley was walking around the studio and kicked the plug out of the wall. And so we got knocked off the air. So one of those things.
He never lets me touch the buttons, and I touched the button.
No, that wasn't it. You knocked that plug out of the wall, and it just knocked us off the air. I mean, just like that, bang. They talk about, you build your facilities, no matter what, radio stations, healthcare facilities, you always build them, and you always try to essentially concentrate on the weakest elements and how to keep those elements from knocking you off the air or, off of power or offline or whatever. One of those things, plug in the wall. She kicks it, bang. And then she even said...
that's because you didn't have any Velcro over it, Brad.
And then she even said, is this important? You're going, yeah, it just knocked us off the air.
What happens if I do this?
Yeah, right. Well, I told you the story. Didn't I tell you the story on there about back in high school, the gym they were building? The kid, did I ever tell you? Oh, I never told that story? Oh, man, I never told that story. Okay. Okay, 6:17, it's BS in the morning. I am S, she is B. It's Brad and Shelley in the morning. Our website is bsinthemorning.show. The website for the radio station is westplex1071.com. Weather today, it's going to be a nice day, sun again, just like yesterday. Not going to believe it, but snow in the forecast for Saturday.
That does not surprise me in the least.
Snow in the forecast.
It's ridiculous.
Why doesn't it?
And then everybody go get your milk and bread.
Why doesn't it surprise you?
Because it's Missouri.
Oh, okay. Anyway, high today is supposed to be 45. It's 31 right now. So if you left stuff out overnight, it's frozen. Man, I've got some bizarre, weird story stuff that happened to me yesterday.
I can't wait to hear them. Ladies and gentlemen, he doesn't talk to me off the air and tell me the things that happens. He likes to have me get the full story while he's on the air.
Shelley's got a cold, doesn't she?
Shelley woke up with, yeah.
Shelley's got a sniffly nose. She's stopped up. She
sort of sounds like that.
Right?
Well, I was going to take a Benadryl, but then I'd go to sleep, and I don't want to do that because I'm excited about growing people's businesses today.
All you have to do is just call me up because I have a way of putting women to sleep. Just call me up and talk to me, and pretty soon, you'd be asleep.
Yeah,
they don't call me Boring Brad for nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Boring Brad?
Yes, Boring Brad, yes.
That's not what they say about you, Brad.
Yes, it is.
No,
yes, it
it's
is.
really not.
Yeah, 6:19. All sorts of stuff going on. The legislative session starts today in Jefferson City, and I know some people are going like, yawn, who cares? But and it's really interesting. I heard one of the legislators actually talk about this, and he talks about how so much attention is given to the federal, laws and the Washington D.C. And you turn on the TV, and it's always Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Mitch O'Connell or whatever his name is, yelling at each other and telling everybody how stupid the other people are, that kind of stuff. But it really is the state that impacts us the most. And the reason for that is, even to the point where you say, well, what about my local municipality? Well, most of the local municipalities have to adhere to state laws when they put together ordinance. So it all sort of comes from the state. And as a guy who goes to Jefferson City fairly often,
I love making that little jaunt up there.
I guess what always bothers me about it is that, and I know you go to D.C. and you go to places, I mean, if I'm going to run a business, I'm not going to build a palace. You know what I mean? I'm going to build a building that's functional and yet is cost effective. But yet you go to these government buildings.
But it has to be pretty too.
Why? Tell me why that is. Why is that when you go to the Jefferson City, the court, the State House? Why has it got to be marble and carvings and high ceilings with stained glass? Why? I don't get that. Explain that to me.
Because you want it to be aesthetically pleasing.
Why?
So people are comfortable coming there, that are welcoming, because it is
Well,
you know,
I
I mean, they're going there for not welcoming things, but
I got news for
they
you.
want to feel welcome.
I get news for you. The Ritz-Carlton people could go down there and build a cheaper place and still have it very welcoming. You go in the Ritz-Carlton here in St. Louis or the Four Seasons, you don't have, sculptures and granite and stained glass. I mean, very comfortable places that are not super expensive to build.
Well, when was the last time this building was built? When was the building
A
built?
long time ago, but even to the point where you go to...
How long?
I don't know. Over 100 years ago. But even if you go to...
That's what they did back
You know
then,
what happened?
Brad.
All of a sudden,
They sat there and they put marble. They put...
Hold on a minute. Something crashed here. Still left over from you this morning. Hold on a minute.
You're funny.
No, seriously. Something is not working right, and I don't know what it is. Hold on. Let me look at this. Oh, okay.
Anyway, so can I talk?
Yeah, okay. Well, no, but what I'm saying is why? And to the point where...
Because that was what the architecture back 100 years ago is completely different than the architecture here that we've got today.
Have you ever been to the Truman State Office building, which is the big, I want to say the new building, but it's the newest building in Jefferson City. It's where like Department of Revenue is, and most of your departments are in that building. Okay, have you ever been in that building before?
The only place, I don't know what building I was in, but when Shannon Norman was going for that elder bill for the geriatric parole bill with Tom Hannigan, a bunch of us went up there to support her, and I don't know which building I was in. I was just excited to be there.
Okay, which building was that?
I'm sorry, I said I don't know which building it was.
Well, was it a modern building where you walked in and it's a great big monstrous atrium? There's nothing there. The Truman Building is you walk into it either on the bottom floor or you walk in either on the backside, which is you come in on the ground floor, and the other side you come in like on the third floor because Jefferson City has like big hills it's built on. But it's this great big massive atrium that's just all wasted space. It's like, okay, I don't get it. Why'd they build this huge? And I mean, I'm talking a like 5-6 story atrium that's maybe 100 feet wide and maybe 300-400 feet long. I mean, like,
okay. So let me ask you this: when was that building built? And I asked for a reason.
70s, 80s, something like that. 90s, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I don't think in the 60s. Probably 70s or 80s.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with the 90s, and the reason for that is because 9700 Page, which used to be the Record Center,
right?
When they built that with this huge atrium, and it's probably just as big as how you described. And they said that they built it like that. So, and it's tall. It's the span of how tall the building is. And they built that because private industry would want to buy the building back. It's not like a government building.
Shelley.
What?
The chances of, come on. That would be that would be the, we're going to build the Eagleton Federal Building downtown because someday, Centene's going to want this building. No, nobody would buy that building. I mean, nobody.
It's a beautiful building.
But I don't care if it's beautiful. I mean, nowadays, companies, it's got to be functional. I mean, once again, I mean, you're past the days of these corporations that build these big, monstrous, beautiful, palatial headquarters because of the fact that if they're publicly traded companies, which most of them are, the stockholders are going to go, hey, why do you need that fancy building? Nobody would buy that building, and matter of fact, they just rehab.
That's what their thought process was back in the 90s, and I only know that because I used to work there.
Okay, do you know the name of our show? What's the name of our show?
BS in the morning.
Okay, I call BS in the 90s. How's that? Because there's no way they would.
That's when that building was built.
But Shelley, when's the last time you heard the government saying, hey, we're going to sell one of our office buildings and the public can buy it? I mean, they never do that.
Well, sure they do.
Tell me one.
It's all a GSA thing.
No, tell me one. Tell me an office building in the St. Louis area or in the state of Missouri that was built by the state, used by the state, and then they said, we're not going to use it anymore. We're going to sell it off. They never do that.
The building that's over off of Cave Springs by EPC.
What building is that?
It was a building that kind of is attached to the EPC or in the same vicinity of it. Um, and it was the Social Security office.
But,
and they moved.
But they're probably,
and then they sold it.
They're probably renting that, though. That's probably different because like a lot of this. I'm talking about a building that was built
tomato. Potato.
Wow, you're not going to have fun today, aren't we?
Uh-huh.
Wait. Let's take a break. It is 6:26. And it's Shelley's favorite station. That's what it is. Westplex 107.1, right?
It is my favorite station.
Yeah, right. You know, like,
it is, actually.
You don't like KSOQ anymore?
I toggle between Westplex 107.1 and KSOQ.
Toggle? That sounds like a computer kind of thing. You toggle back and forth?
I do.
That's one of those terms that people never used until computers came around. You know? I mean, because there were toggle switches.
There's a lot of things that people never used until computers came along.
Yeah. Like porn sites and things like that, right?
Thank you for pointing that out, Brad.
Hey,
not what I was thinking, but
by the way,
good job.
By the way, yesterday on one of the national talk show programs, they gave the account of the guy being kidnapped in the car, carjacked, kidnapped, whatever you want to call it, with the goat. You know, when we talked about that last week?
Yeah, I remember that.
But they had more information on it, and part of it bothered me because they had a very in-depth.
Wasn't that an emotional support goat?
No. But here's what they said. Okay, if you don't know the story, this came out like a couple weeks ago. Two guys driving along in a pickup truck in Southwest Missouri, and they stop in Carthage, Missouri, and the one guy goes in at a video porn shop to go buy, I guess, some video porn, okay? So he goes in, the other guy is asleep in the truck, and there's a goat in the truck, and it's his pet goat, okay? So unbeknownst to him, he wakes up, and someone has stolen the truck, and he's in the truck with the goat, and the guy has a gun, and he whacks him a couple times, pistol whips him in the head a couple times, whacks him in the head, and the guy is saying, I'm taking you hostage, I'm taking you and your goat hostage. So they go from Carthage, Missouri, they go across the state line into Kansas, and then they go south from Kansas into Oklahoma. And then that's what we heard. That's pretty much where the story ended. Well, then the story they had said that at some point in Oklahoma, the guy with the gun who carjacked the truck and the goat and the other guy decided he doesn't like that guy and his goat, so he pulls over to the shoulder of the road and says, "Get out." So the guy gets out with his goat and stands on the shoulder. The only thing is, he's got his cell phone. So he calls 911 and says, "Hey, you're not going to believe this, but I just got, let out of a truck, which is my buddy's truck. It got carjacked back in Missouri, and we've been through Kansas and Oklahoma, and I'm standing here on the shoulder, and, if you want to come get me, I can, I'll tell you, so they're on the phone, the police dispatcher's on the phone with this guy. Okay, tell us about the truck, and so I don't know exactly how they did this, but somehow or another, they figured out that the car or the truck was a General Motors product, and it had OnStar. Okay, you with me so far?
Yes.
So the police catch up with the guy, and they're like chasing him. So they get on the phone. The police get on the phone with OnStar, and they say, "Here's the car, here's the truck." And once again, I don't know how they're able to do this. It sounds sort of spooky. Anyway, OnStar says, well, we'll put it in slow speed mode. So over the satellite, they take this guy's truck and they make it so it can't go any faster than 15 miles an hour. Okay? You with me? So there's now a OJ style slow speed chase going on where the guy
super slow-mo.
The guy is doing 15 miles an hour and the police are all around him. There's a couple squad cars and the guy just keeps driving at 15 miles an hour, So pretty soon they put up spike strips, and the guy drives over the spike strips, blows out the tires. He keeps going, and then pretty soon the tires fall apart, and he can't drive the truck anymore. So he gets out of the truck and he runs. And he runs to the side of this field where there's a bunch, like, I don't know, it was a corn crop, or I don't know if there'd still be crops in the fields, but something that had tall vegetation. They said tall vegetation. And he hid in the field, and they found him. Okay? And they arrested him. But I'm thinking to myself, now hold on a minute. I'm not real. I have a problem with the police being able to call OnStar and say, hey, put this guy's car in slow speed mode, and we're going to catch up to him. You know what I'm saying?
Why do you have a problem with that?
Okay, so let's say you're driving a car with OnStar, and let's say,
which I won't, because I ride Fords.
No.
Fords.
You can get OnStar on. I think you can get it as an add-on in other model cars. I don't think it was exclusively to General Motors. I may be wrong in this. I'll double check it, but I believe you can get it retrofitted into other cars now. So
it's not on my Lincoln.
I said retrofitted, which means you have to.
Excuse me.
You have to take it somewhere and get the equipment put into it, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I do believe...
Thank you for that clarification.
Well, I do believe them talking about the fact that, hey, if you don't have a GM car, you can still get OnStar. Anyway, so the problem I have is that that's sort of spooky stuff.
It's very Big Brotherish.
Well,
OnStar itself is very Big Brotherish as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where it's like, okay, so that means that, like, and I don't know if you know this or not, but there's several state legislators, legislatures, in other words, the various states that are talking about. Because already you have this information. And matter of fact, I don't know if you know this or not, but some of the insurance companies have this deal where they plug this little thing into your OBD2 port, which is below your dashboard, where they plug in to check your computer.
Yeah, Progressive has that.
Right. And it monitors your driving habits, but it also tells you the speed. And already the rental car companies use this, to the point where if you come back with a car, and not all of them, but I know some of them do, where they'll pull the records of the car and they go, oh, you owe us $500. Why do I owe you $500 more? Well, because you drove that car over 100 miles an hour. And if you read the contract, which is 42 pages long, on page 14B6, it said that if you drive the car, dangerously, which means, and we put in there over 100 miles an hour, you therefore have violated the terms of a service, and you owe us $500. But the point being is some of the legislators are trying to do to the point where instead of you going every year or 2 years when you go get your license plates, which gives you the right to drive your car on the road, they're setting it up where they would charge you by the mile. And all the cars would report back to the central computer, like in Jefferson City, and say, oh, Shelley drove 452 miles this week at 10 cents a mile. She owes us, $42.50.
Huh. I don't like that idea at all.
Tell me who does, besides the legislators who want money, for the government. I mean, who would agree with that? Who would say, I think that's a great idea. Charge me by the mile. I mean, think about it.
What are they thinking? I mean, when they come up with this stupid
they're
what are they thinking?
In Missouri, they're trying to get money. And the reason for that is that, remember, we had the thing where, they have these bond issues and they keep talking about toll roads because they can't operate within the budget, and MoDOT always comes in, we don't have any money, we can't fix highways. And the crazy thing is they all come on and they say, oh, we've got to rebuild Interstate 70 between St. Louis and Jefferson, or, between St. Louis and Kansas City. It's in terrible shape. And I'm telling you, I've driven it many times, with my one son when he was living in Kansas City. I still do business in Jefferson City in Columbia. 70 is in great shape. The stretch that's not in so great shape, I don't know if they have problems with it, or if they've got a problem with drainage there or something like that, is that stretch on 70 right by your office between Forestel and the Wentzville exit, where there's a stretch of it that always keeps buckling. And, they're always out there, chopping it up. You know what I'm talking about, right? East of the truck scales. They're always out there chopping it up, relaying the pavement, and then it works for like a year, and then it's buckled again. It's like, okay, there's something wrong with that. But yet once you get west of that, the highway's in great shape. And they talk about, Interstate 70 is between St. Louis and Kansas City, so crowded. I mean, the only time I have ever seen it crowded is when there's a Mizzou game. And like everybody's going down to, Columbia at the same time, or
tailgate,
or to go to the game. I mean, I never have a problem 170 unless there's like an accident. I mean, I can normally get in my car and drive okay, fine. And I'm the guy that's doing 73, 74, and cars are whizzing by me like I'm standing still.
Yes, I do know.
But what do I know?
But
hey,
I don't like the idea of charging by the mile.
Well, once again,
I think it's stupid.
Well, I mean, I got a feeling, maybe not in our lifetime, because I only got about another couple months left, but, maybe...
Okay, you need to take that back twice, and I am not kidding.
Maybe in our kids' lifetime.
Don't put that stuff out in the universe, Brad, and I'm not kidding.
Okay, Dr. Shelley, I won't. 6:45. Westplex 107.1, a song that's definitely not written about me. Maybe Shelley, but not me. The beautiful people, right? 6:52. It's BS in the morning. I am S. She is B. Right?
That's absolutely correct.
Shelley, sometimes you jump in way too quick.
Why?
Never mind. You can check out our...
I actually don't, do I? Well, because you sit there and I process things, Brad, and you knew that about me before you had me on as your cohort.
Sometimes I will say good morning to Shelley, and then like 2:00 in the afternoon, she'll say, hey, good morning back to you.
I do that. Oh, I said do. How funny.
Yeah, listen to you. Website is bsinthemorning.show. You can check out our website for the morning show. The radio station is Westplex1071.com. Man, I had one of those days yesterday, and I think I'm off to another day this morning. I got a guy I'm supposed to have a meeting with this morning at 9:30, and I know he's not going to be there. Isn't that terrible when you know that?
How do you know he's not going to be there?
Do you ever have somebody who just says, yeah, I'll be here Wednesday at 9:30? And you're going like, they have no intention of meeting with me. I've had that with through the years when you're trying to set up meetings for sales calls and trying to get things done. People just like, you get there. Oh, well, he's in a different office today. I don't know why he told you he'd be here today. That kind of stuff,
Well, no, because people don't usually stand me up. What they do, I said it again. What they do is, I'll be making a sales call, and they'll put me off on meeting me, and then I sit there and I continue to talk to them because I don't want to be remiss in giving them all the information so they can make an informed decision, and then, without even letting me do that, they said, it's just not really for me.
Well,
I'm like,
okay. Then what Shelley does is what she really does is she kicks the door in, fires a few rounds from her little Beretta she carries with her, throws in a smoke grenade, grabs people by the shirt and said, okay, I'm going to put a pen in your hand. You're going to sign 3 copies, press hard.
Okay, that's not what I do, because I do not hell heck people, Brad.
You do with me, but I guess that's...
Well, that's different.
Oh, okay.
You're my boss and my friend and...
Yeah, right.
My co-host and...
Co-host, yeah, I don't know about that.
Actually, I'm the co-host. You're the host.
I'm not anything. I'm the Ed McMahon of the airwaves. People go like, who's Ed McMahon?
Ed McMahon of the airwaves.
Yes.
Oh. Do you know my stepdad used to look like him? He actually used to get stopped all the time at Lambert.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Do you know that Gus Beffa looks like Colonel Sanders?
Yes, I do.
Do you know that Donald Trump looks like Donald Trump?
I do.
Yeah.
I do know that he looks like Donald Trump.
Hey, we got to take a break. 6:56. Westplex 107.1, 7:06. Good morning. It is BS in the Morning. I am S. She is B. You can check out our website at bsinthemorning.show. Shelley, you know what I get frustrated by?
Oh, so many things. But what about, what is it this time?
Well, we have, not a bunch, but, a couple vehicles, 3-4 vehicles for the radio station, right?
Yes.
So I don't know how this happened, but they all pretty much come due in December. And yesterday, I went to a DMV, a DOR office, which shall remain nameless, and explained to them what I needed to do. And the lady looked at me and she says, I'm sorry, we can't do that. I'm going like, what do you mean you can't do that? So, can't do that. Okay, fine. So I went to another one.
She give you a reason?
It was against the law. I'm going like, what I'm doing is I'm moving a vehicle because, see, you're supposed to have the vehicles, the way it is in the state law because of the fact that we have, multiple locations with transmitter sites and stuff like that. And I think you know which vehicle I'm talking about. I'm moving it from one county to the other county, okay? But at the same point in time, I'm renewing the license plates. And, so in other words, I'm doing a couple things at the same time. One lady said you couldn't do it. I go to one place. I go to another place, okay? And it shall remain nameless, other than it's in Chesterfield. And I go in, and there's little tickets. And this is the same office that used to go in and used to type into a computer. You'd walk in and you'd type in a computer. You put your name, first and last name, and your cell phone number, and then it would text you, hey, you're number 4,652 in line, and your wait will be sometime in 2023. Okay? I'm exaggerating, only maybe by a year or so. So go in there yesterday. The computer's gone. They have little pull tabs, and you pull the tab. Okay? So I walk in, and I pull the tab, and my tab is number 88. Okay? You with me so far?
Yes.
And I look at the little LED display back behind the counter, and they're on number 85. So there's 3 women in there working, right? And
yes.
The place is packed. There's only like maybe 20 chairs in there, and there's people standing around, because there's so many people in there. And I'm going like, well, how in the world did I come in here and, there's all these people. Well, what I didn't realize is there's a bunch of people getting their driver's license renewed and getting the real ID thing and all this other kind of stuff. So there's two lines. There's one that you take one color tab for the driver's license and the other one for license plates. Okay, so the 3 ladies are sitting there and they're looking out at us. People sitting there, we're looking back at them. And yet the 3 ladies are doing nothing. So then the one lady says, because she looks back and sees that, the little LED display says 85, and she says, 86, 86, and nobody comes up. So she looks around again. She says, 86, 86, and nobody comes up. So she gets up, and with the other woman, they go over to this television set, which is behind their counter, and they're deciding what channel they're going to watch. Are you with me so far?
Yes, I am. They pretty much didn't go past 86, and you're 88.
Well, but they're like, and there's all these people, and the guy next to me leans over and says, why don't they call 87? I'm going like, pretty easy assumption. Why don't they call 87? So the 2 ladies are messing with this television set, and they decide, okay, we're going to watch this, and they sit back down. And so the lady who called 86 sits back down and says again, 86, 86. And I'm going like, is this like a comedy show? Is this like
this like a glitch in the Matrix?
No. Is there like
why didn't I take the blue pill?
Is there like a hidden camera here that and they're going to
like
wait?
You're being punked by the license bureau,
right? And it's going to be like, how long is it going to be till somebody goes, hey, why don't you call 87? So she gets up and walks behind someplace in the back office, and the other lady's sitting there doing nothing. And there's another lady, and she's talking to somebody else that works there. And then, I'm going like, okay, I don't believe this is happening. So finally, the one lady says, is there anybody here who's trying to renew license plates? And I go, I am. And so, I'm going like, okay, what happened to the number system? So she says, well, come on up to this woman. So I go up to this woman. And man, I'm going to get in trouble.
What about the 87 guy?
Who knows? I mean, I don't know. I mean, nobody, I don't get it. I mean, it was like, okay, I don't understand. And a couple people started.
So why didn't you say he was before me?
I said to her when she said anybody, I said, I'm 88. And she says, well, come on up. And nobody said anything. So I guess there was, 86 and 87 probably left. They probably, I'm not staying around here. So I walked in, I'm 88.
They didn't call 87.
I know they didn't. But once again, I said I was 88 and nobody said, well, I'm 87.
Right.
So I went up there, okay? I get this woman, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but she can barely speak English. And
Okay,
I'm telling
got it.
I mean, like, and she's, I want to say Indian, from like the country, India. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can understand every third word. And I'm trying to go like, and I'm, and to the point where, and I ask her a question, and she just gets up and walks away. And she walks to like some place, and I don't even know where she's going. She's like disappears in the back somewhere, comes out, and then points to things on this form I'm supposed to fill out. So I'm like, okay, fine, fill out this form. So then, she disappears again, and then she says, "Can I have your ID?" Now, the interesting thing for me is like, the people are complaining about, you shouldn't be able to why do you need an ID to vote, okay? Like, it's gotten to the point where you need an ID to do everything nowadays. You know what I mean?
You do. Hence the real ID.
Right. I mean, everything you do. I mean, even to the point where I told you the story that recently I went to a store that I have a credit card at. I had to show my driver's license to make a payment on my credit card. I'm going like, here's my credit card.
That.
Here's my credit card. And, I'm going like, okay, why do I have to show you my driver's license when I have that credit card and it's me? Well, we have to make sure that you're the person on the credit card. Okay, so in other words, if I gave this to my son and he came in here to make a payment, you wouldn't accept a payment? That's right, we wouldn't accept a payment from him. Okay, I don't get that. Okay, so anyway, back to the DMV. So
yeah, please.
Then she's like, she asked me for my ID, and she goes down and shows it to the other woman at the end of the counter, and they laugh at my picture. And she says,
well, there's a reason for that, Brad.
Well, they laugh at my picture, and the one lady says,
again, why don't you post that picture on Facebook to let everybody know what they were laughing at?
Well, but she laughs at my picture, and then she says, how do we know this is you? I'm going,
so did you make the face?
No, but I'm going like, okay, once again, I'm here to spend money with the state. I'm here to try to get my vehicle moved from one county to the other, change the title so it shows up from one county to the other, which is the law, believe it or not. I'm trying to comply with the law that you're supposed to have the vehicle titled and, and licensed in the county that they call domiciled or whatever. In other words, if you,
right,
if you live in Franklin County or St. Charles County, wherever, you're supposed to have it, or if you have a business in that county, that's where the vehicle is supposed to be licensed, where it sits. Okay. So
yes.
The lady who's helping me, who I can understand every third word, she starts asking me questions. And finally, I said to her, can you turn, because she's typing stuff into the computer. And I said, can you turn the monitor and I'll walk through it with you? So she turns the monitor and I'm going like, okay, type in here. And she's typing stuff in. And then we get to the point where she can't figure out why it keeps kicking her out, because of the fact that when you're paying you're like the licensing fee or something with each county, that the problem we're having is that where this is at, where our one place is at, it's unincorporated. So she keeps trying to put in a city. And I go, no, it's not in a city. It's unincorporated. And every time she puts in a different city under this zip code, it kicks it out. So finally she goes and talks to another woman, and they come down and they huddle. I was there 45 minutes, and I look around me, and there were like twice as many people there than when I came in. I'm thinking to myself, at this rate, these people are going to be here till Tuesday. Tuesday next week. So finally, and she says to me, how many year plates do you want? I go, can I, because it was, the goofy thing, like the year of the car and the year of the year were the same. It was, odd, even. And I said, I want 2-year plates. And she says, you can't have 2-year plates. I'm going like, then why did you ask me? You know what I mean?
Why couldn't you have 2-year plates?
I don't know. She said that. She says it was even numbered year and even numbered car, model, And she said, you can't have 2-year plates. Then why did you ask me? Why didn't you just say you can only have 1-year plates? Okay, fine. So then, and this is a truck, and she gives me the wrong plate, because there's this little secret numbering code that Missouri has that if it's a truck, it's a number, letter, number. And if it's a car, it's letter, number. So that's how the police know, because they don't put, in the old days, that the plates actually had truck stamped on it. You know what I mean? Where it had
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And I never knew that about their system. That's pretty interesting. See, we're a full service radio show.
Well, so I said to her, that's the wrong plate. And she says, no, it's not. I go, yes, it is. It's not a truck plate. And the lady next to her says, he's right. You need to get the truck plate. So I'm going like, I need to work at this place. I mean, it was just crazy stuff.
So did you get your plate?
Yes.
Okay. So did you have to show them the face that's on your driver's license?
No.
Did you do it?
No, but I'm going like,
that would have been priceless. How do we know it's you?
And here's what bothers me. Okay, on the counter.
Okay, yeah. Out of all of this,
well, on the counter,
what is it that has bothered you the most?
There's a customer comment form that's from the Department of Revenue. Okay, and I'm thinking to myself, I bet you if I fill that out and I send it in, somebody down in Jefferson is going like, boy, they're having problems in Chesterfield again, and nothing ever gets done. You know what I mean? It's to the point where it's like, and here's what's crazy about it is, this is what bothers me about when you have like, it's essentially controlled monopoly because people bid on those license bureaus and, they get them and stuff like that. Okay. If that were a McDonald's or, fried, what's the one? Cane's fried chicken or a Wendy's, that place would be out of business. I mean, nobody would, like if 45 minutes to get like your number 3, you get your like, your single and the French fries and a Frosty. No, that'd be gone. Nobody would go there because people, oh my God, that place is the worst, terrible service. Just like the one Little Caesar's Pizza I used to go. The Little Caesar.
What about Little Caesar Pizza?
There was one down, the one I go to from time to time, not the one you think about, another one that was terrible, and finally it closed because nobody went there because the service was horrible and the food was always terrible and they never had anything ready. The Little Caesars, you walk in, hey, I want.
They're supposed to have those pepperoni pizzas ready,
right? And they're supposed to have the crazy bread. Like you walk in, they never had anything done. Yes. Hey, can I? Well, it'll take 20 minutes for the crazy bread. Okay, you don't have any done? No, 20 minutes. How about a pizza? 20 minutes. Okay, fine. I'll go somewhere. That's just
like cooking a fried chicken.
Well, anyway, so that's my...
Fried chicken always takes longer.
That's my trip to the DMV yesterday.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Brad. Do you feel better?
I do and I don't. I mean, it's to the point where it's like, once again, it's like involves... And this is the thing that always gets me when people are talking about, we want the government to take over healthcare. Okay, I always say, whenever I hear anybody say that, I say, have you been to the License Bureau lately? I mean, imagine the License Bureau taking care of like that. You need to get like a colonoscopy, and you go there and like, how do we know it's you? Can you fill out this form? Get what I'm saying?
I do, but that's kind of sounds like you did go through a colonoscopy.
Well, that story's next. 7:19. Westplex 107.1, chained to the rhythm. Good morning to you. It is, what day is it, Shelley? Is it Wednesday or Tuesday?
Today is hump day.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
And this is the second
I teed that one
Wednesday
up for you, didn't I?
Of
hump day.
Huh?
Never mind.
This is the second Wednesday of a decade.
Run that by me again?
It's the second day of a new decade.
Second day of a new decade.
The second Wednesday of a new decade.
Okay, I know what you're saying. Okay, so do you want me to tell you my story of the credit card thing yesterday?
Oh, sure.
Do you get these calls where you get the automated call where it's
every day.
A nice American lady who says, "Hi, would you like to lower your credit card interest rates? If so, press 1 and we'll have someone talk to you." You ever got those before?
I have.
Okay, so I love those calls. So I always press 1 and I always get some guy who sounds like he's from, some foreign land, and usually they sound like they're Chinese or Japanese. You know what I'm saying? And
yes.
And
and their name is Dave or Peter.
It's a scam because what they're trying to do is they're trying to charge stuff in your credit card. I don't know if you know that or not. But they tell you, they say, "Okay, sir, can you please give me your credit card number?" And you give them, the credit card number, the whole bit. But I always give them, I always read it off one of my credit cards and I transpose the last 4 numbers. Okay? So it's not my number. Okay? Then they
Okay.
ask you for your expiration date and your 3-digit thing on the back of the card. I give it to him. And then he asks me for my Social Security number. Off the top of my head, I just throw one out. 497, blah, 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 blah. And he says, "Thank you, sir." And then he comes back on the line and he says, "Sir, the number the Social Security number you've given me is for a man who's been dead since 2007. I said, "That's me." And he says, "You've been dead since 2007? "Yes, I have." And he says to me, "Sir, do you still have that credit card in your hand?" And I said, "I do." And he says, "Can you do me a favor and your..." I said, "No problem."
Okay, you just cut out. Did you do that on purpose, or was he being rude?
He told me to insert it where the sun doesn't shine, and pull it back out, and reinsert it where the sun doesn't shine, and hung up on me. And
Okay, that's hilarious.
and he didn't mince any words about telling me, and then as he hung up, he said to me, "Okay, fine." so,
That's priceless. Way to mess with the telemarketer spammer.
yeah, but they're crooks. They're stealing. That's what they're doing. They're not reducing your interest rate. They're charging stuff on your card. But the thing for me is, I'm thinking to myself, now hold on a minute. Now I just gave him some random number off the top of my head for a Social Security number. If that was correct that I gave him, or I just made up a number that somebody who's dead, how does he have access to the Social Security numbers?
That's true.
You know what I mean? I mean, how in the world does he have
that
access
is true.
to that?
That does cause me pause. I'm not going to lie.
It's like, okay, here's some scammer from probably, some foreign country, and he's got access to our Social Security numbers that he knows that, and I'm thinking to myself, I can't,
Isn't that the year that you went to your high school reunion?
No, that was my college reunion at SIU, and they declared me, no, it wasn't a reunion, it was a 50th anniversary celebration, and one of the people that I went to school with wanted to know if I was going, and I said I didn't know about it, and she said, "Well, how could you not know about it? I get stuff in the mail all the time, and I don't get anything." And so she went to the alumni office, and she said, "Why doesn't he get any stuff?" And they said, "Well, he died in 1989." I've been dead since '89 as far as my college is concerned. So, which is so one of those things. Hey, it's 7:28.
Hi, this is Brad Mitchell.
Leonard Marquardt.
Jeff Totter.
Gene Anderson.
And this is Sherry Wall with the
Westplex 107.1 Halsey Graveyard 734. It's BS in the morning. Weather forecast is coming up. We'll have complete forecast from our meteorologist, whose name is Jennifer
Fuchiski.
Very good, Shelley, because I can't say that name. And she will give us the 411 on what's happening with the weather. Hold on just a minute. Okay, much better. Maybe I thought I was going to cough. I turned the microphone. I didn't. I coughed, and then I coughed again. 7:35, BS in the Morning. That's who we are. You can check out our website at bsinthemorning.show. Okay, yesterday, Shelley gets all mad at me because I have someone contact me about advertising, and Shelley gets all upset. So yesterday afternoon, someone just texted me and said, "Hey, when you get a chance, can you and I discuss me possibly doing some advertising in your station?" I said, "Okay, fine." And I told who Shelley was, and she got all mad. So I talked to this person yesterday. Won't name names, but she is, among other things she does open mic nights at comedy clubs. Okay, and when I didn't quite understand what she originally texted me. I thought she was the one who was actually up on stage. But what she does is she's like the producer. And she's currently at some place, I don't know exactly where it's at, some place where she's producing this. And in other words, she puts it out through her contacts that, hey, on Tuesday night, it's open mic night at XYZ place, and sign up on my website, and you can be a comedian for 5 minutes on open mic night. So you get what I'm saying, Shelley?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So what she's telling me is she's switching comedy clubs. She's going from one comedy club to another comedy club, and one that you and I know about, which shall remain nameless, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And she is being hired to bring her open mic night to this, relatively new comedy club. And she's telling me about how that, and get this, I'm thinking to myself, I had no idea. It's funny because nobody will, you can't get anybody who wants to work anymore, to the point where I had an interesting call from a real estate agent yesterday talking about how flipping homes is getting to be so much harder. He was representing an investor, and how flipping homes has gotten so much harder because all the contractors are booked up. And the problem is they're now charging premium prices to do work because of the fact that they can demand premium prices because nobody wants to do electrical work or HVAC work anymore. You know what I mean? To the point where there are so few people doing it that it's supply and demand. So anyway, she tells me that at the one comedy club that she's not doing open mic night at, but the one place in the St. Louis area, that what you do is you have to show up at 5 o'clock, I think she said. So in other words, let's say open mic night was tonight, and it doesn't start till like 8. You have to be there at 5, and you have to register. And usually like 30 or 40 people will show up to register. And then they sit down and they talk to you, and they ask you about your act and the whole bit. And then, this goes on for a couple of hours. And then like a half an hour before showtime, they'll say, okay, you, and you're in, the rest of you are out. I'm thinking, who the hell would do that? You're not getting...
Oh, anybody that wants to be on open mic night.
No, but you're not even getting paid, and you're sitting around. So she said that at this club that she's supposedly going to be doing this at, that they're going to do this online. And that they'll open up the online page at 7:30 of the morning of the open mic night, and then you can register online, and then they'll decide who they will allow in. I'm thinking, okay, hold on a minute. It's like if you put a job that's saying, hey, this job pays $15 an hour, register here to start this job tomorrow, nobody would sign up. But yet, there are people who are like, waiting in line to do open mic at comedy club.
That's just like there are people waiting in line to come on the air.
There are? Where are they?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
people ask me all the time.
Oh,
You've got to get me on your station.
Oh, to be on the air, to talk on the air.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I thought it was interesting, and she tells me about and she just does this part time, and I thought that she was like the comedian, and she goes, no, she says, I don't really do that. Occasionally I'll do it, but normally I just organize these open mic nights. I'm thinking to myself, man, open my eyes to something, and I said, well, how many people are at that club? She says it holds 90 people, and I go, do they sell it out? She says, yeah, sometimes.
Well, good on them. And
well, I don't.
So, are you going to do it?
Well, she wants me to do it for free.
I know that.
I'm going like, I don't think so. I mean, and to me, it's I guess sometimes I'm amazed at you hear things like this. That's like, okay, once again, I go back to the thing that like the chances of you. Even if you're like super, 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 super funny, the chances of you becoming the next big comic that would be like on, the Tonight Show and Jimmy Kimmel and, and things like that, are so incredibly slim. I mean, it's to the point where it'd be like if you were in, let's say, let's take us back to high school, and I said, I want to be the next Mark McGuire, and I want to hit 70 home runs in the National League, okay? The chances of me doing that were, probably a gazillion to 1. You know what I mean? And yet, I'm never for throwing cold water on people's dreams, but by the other side of the token, it's like, okay, can't you be a little bit realistic? Like, it's to the point where, first off, now with the internet, I mean, I don't even quite get why people go to comedy clubs, because you can grab your phone, and you can go to YouTube and you can type in comedy routine or something like that, and you can see a gazillion really good comedians.
Because it's all about the ambiance. It's about the place. It's about the interaction with the crowd. You're there to experience the moment, the smells, the drinks. It's a way to get away, and that's YouTube is very it's two-dimensional.
I guess I'm
And there's always a subculture. So there's a subculture about people that want to talk on the radio like we do. And there's a subculture with people who do comedy clubs. There's always that subculture. And that's what, or karaoke. There's always that subculture because, if they have to wait, they will, if it's a good karaoke place, people will wait to sing. And this is no different.
I guess. I don't know. I just sort of scratch my head because but what I find fascinating is I'm always, to the day I die, I will be a student of business. And I'm always amazed that people will tell me about their business or a business they're involved in. And they'll tell me things I'll go like, I never thought about that, or I never knew that happened. You know what I mean? It's to the point where, like, who would have thunk that there's like a waiting line to be open mic night,
I that doesn't surprise me a bit.
I guess it did. It blew me away. It's just to the point where it's like, okay, and so I said to her, I said, well, why don't you let me do a routine? And she goes, what? I go, yeah, I'll do 5 minutes. She goes, you do stand-up? I go, yeah, I've done it before. And she goes like, really? I go, yeah, I'll do it. Well, you'll have to register online. That's what she tells me. And I'm going like, I don't get any pull with you because of the fact that you want to promote this on my radio station? No, you'll have to register online just like everybody else. Okay, fine.
And that's what you get.
Yeah. I don't get any extra juice because of the fact that I'm going to promote her on the radio station.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking, I hung with her and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I got to talk to Shelley about this. We got to start our own comedy club. You know what I mean? Seriously.
So can you see why I was a little upset?
About what?
Never mind, Brad.
Okay.
Oh, look, it's 7:43.
Westplex 107.1, a beautiful sunrise this morning. It's going to be a sunny day today. Enjoy it because we're not going to see much sun until probably next week, believe it or not. Shelley, can you believe that? It's supposed to be cloudy tomorrow, Friday, possibly snow on Saturday.
I can believe that.
It's January. So far, this January has been mild. It really hasn't been bad at all. Yesterday wasn't bad.
You can't really complain about the snow.
No, 45 is supposed to be the high today. High tomorrow.
Look at the day we had on Christmas.
Well, get this. Tomorrow, high supposed to be 56. Friday, 62.
Snap.
Yeah, 62 on Friday. So
and then it's supposed to snow on Saturday.
That's exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to snow on Saturday with high.
That's Missouri.
But high of only 42, and then Sunday it's supposed to be high 40, and then back on Monday and Tuesday, Monday 49, Tuesday 55. I'm not complaining. I'll take those kind of temperatures.
Yeah, those are nice.
In January anytime, because, normally this time of the year, super, 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 super cold. You got a lot of busy day. You go and see a lot of people. You going to the DMV to get your license plates renewed?
No, I don't do that. But, I don't know if I talked about this yet or not. But speaking of license plates, so I have personalized license plates. Did I talk about this already?
You have to get your new plates.
I do have to get my new plates. But so I have conservation plates because I like the bird and the dogwood flower on them. And I pay to have those plates. I pay every year or every 2 years,
right.
But I pay for every year.
Right.
And they sent me something to see if I wanted to donate more money to them.
Yeah, why not?
I'm like, excuse me?
Well, there's a couple different levels, and you're talking to a guy who knows a lot about personalized plates because I've had a bunch of them through the years. I love personalized plates. There's a standard personalized plate, which costs you $15 a year. But then there's the other.
Yes, that's with the same logos that everybody else has.
Right, but it's just whatever you want on it. within
Right.
reason. But the other ones are fundraisers. That's how they do it.
I know.
Yeah. So
I understand that
Right.
because I used to be on, it's now the CCRB, but I used to be on the board for the Children and Family Services Authority Board for St. Charles County.
Right.
This is going back 20 years. And they actually applied for and got the chance to have funds given to them for the Children's Trust Fund.
right. I used to do, and the reason I don't do it anymore, so women don't get mad at me when I say I used to do it, but I don't really do it anymore. I used to do the breast cancer awareness plates because my mom had breast cancer. And what happened on that was, I'm not exactly sure what happened on it, but it was actually administered by a local group, and it was sort of complicated because you had to send them the money. I think you had to send them $25. It was an address
You
out
do
in the
have to
West
send
County.
them the money. I had to go to Walmart and pay the conservation people.
Yeah, well, but the breast cancer thing changed, and whatever local group that did it for the state of Missouri, there was a local group here in St. Louis that did it for the entire state, and it changed, and I can't remember what happened, and I didn't renew them, but I had them. I had the pink plates, and because like I said, I believe in that. My mom had breast cancer, and I know it's a terrible thing that unfortunately impacts quite a few women. And
It does, and it impacts a community, is what it does.
Right. And some, I can't remember the exact story, but something changed the way you did it. I'm going like, man, that's like, I'm jumping through more. It got more complicated. You had to do this, and you had to send this, and you had to send that, and the whole bit. So I'm not going to do it anymore. But maybe I will. Because I mean,
Well, I'm going to get the Missouri Botanical Garden ones because they're pink and they're pretty, and I like that. So I'm going to change because the conservation department kind of made me mad. So I'm going to change to the Missouri Botanical Garden ones.
I'm trying to get my one set of license plates, one personalized license plates renewed, but I don't think they're going to do it.
They might. You never know.
I told you that story. I got
Yeah.
a little pushback on that. So we'll see what happens with that one. But
Yeah.
Here's what I wish. I wish Missouri would go to 7 digits.
Me too. I was actually looking at a plate from Illinois.
Yeah, they go 7
and they
digits.
actually had room for 8 digits.
Yeah, well, here's what's sort of crazy is I've heard people say, well, the reason Missouri doesn't go to 7 digits is they can't fit it on the plate. Well, that's not true because
That's a big fat lie.
Well, if you look at the regular plates have bigger numbers and bigger letters than the personalized plates. The personalized plates have smaller numbers and letters. So you could I think you could put 8 digits on there with the personalized. I've got one, you know which one I'm talking about, that has 6 digits on it, and it's got space on both sides. It's going like,
Yes.
you could stick
Plus,
another
on personalized plates, you could use
hyphens and stuff like
hyphens
that. Yeah.
and parentheses and not parentheses,
not
but
parentheses.
quotes.
No, I don't think you can use quotes.
You could use a space.
You can use a
space is a
I think
character.
you can use an apostrophe. I think you can use
That's
that.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you can use an apostrophe, but you can't use quote. And I'd want one that would have Greek symbols on it.
Of course you would.
I'm kidding. Okay, we got to take a break. We will be right back. It's 7:58. Hold on a minute. I'm not having a good day with the computer, Shelley. I don't know what it is. It's been very cantankerous with me today. Okay, here we go.
It's karma, Brad.
Well, that's going to do it for BS in the Morning. We are done. Put another one in the can. There's
Stick a fork in us, we're done.
There's no can anymore, though. It's the old movie days. Hey, put it in a can. I read something the other day that I was talking about data backup, and I know we shouldn't be talking about this. We're trying to get out of here, but maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow. Data backup, they talked about the fact that at one point in time when the movie Toy Story 2 was finished, somebody almost erased it.
No way.
Yeah, the master copy of it, because it's all done digitally, somehow or another, that somebody almost did something to completely erase, at that point in time, the master copy of Toy Story would have disappeared. I'm thinking to myself, how is that possible? But yet you hear stories about this all the time that, well, I didn't back up my computer and everything I had was gone. And you're thinking like, okay, big company like that? How would that happen? Anyway, so how'd we get into that data backup? No?
Yeah, thanks for that.
Listen to you.
It's 8:02. It's time for us to go. Everybody have a great day. It's going to be amazing.
Okay, go ahead, intro.
I don't think I want to today, Brad.
Go ahead.
And now the most important man in St. Charles steps up to the microphone and says,